0864. Stations your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
The following is a presentation of Learfield. Welcome to Duck Insider.
Our whole athletic department, there's a level of expectations of success.
Throw, catch, touchdown, Oregon.
He can run and slam.
This is back out for a three. Left wing is good.
In the air to center, back at the wall. It's out of here.
Really excited that we get to rep our Ducks and hopefully come back to Eugene with some championships.
Indoor track and field national champion.
Oregon repeats as the Pac-12 champion.
And for the fourth time in the last 6 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
We have so many teams that are excelling right now, and it's really fun to be a part of.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Game day eve for another Pacific Northwest showdown. The Ducks meeting the Cougars of Washington State, a 7:30 kickoff on ESPN, 5:30 pregame show for us across the Oregon Sports Network. We got basketball and volleyball at Matthew Knight Arena tonight. So if you're in town, volleyball at 4, basketball against a pretty good SMU team at 8 o'clock. I'm looking forward to it. I'm Joey Mack. Jerry Allen and Mike Jorgensen are with us via Zoom as we get ready to make some picks brought to you by Sylvan Ridge Winery. And then we're going to talk about Oregon and Washington State. Jorgy, let's start with you. Ducks and Cougs. This has been a tough one over the last few years for the Ducks.
Boy, there's been some wild ones, whether they're low scoring or high scoring. It just seems like they've been back and forth consistently. And I would anticipate that's the way it's going to be again. Washington State's playing some really good football right now, and so is Oregon. And the Ducks are at home. That pass game and Delora and the way that they throw it all over the place is really tough and funky and frustrating to defend sometimes. And they also have a very good defense, but Oregon's defense and offense are playing great too. So I anticipate this is going to be another one of those ones. It's just a really tough matchup for Oregon, but Oregon's a tough matchup for Washington State, and everybody will be there till the bitter end.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely going to be the case. Jerry Allen joining us as well. Jerry, when you see the Cougs on the schedule in November, I feel like we knew this was going to be a tough one, and even with everything going on in their program right now, this is going to be a tough matchup for the Ducks.
It always is. I mean, in the last, 6 games they played, Washington State's won 4 of them, 2 out of the last 3 in Eugene. So the home field advantage has not been what it normally would be. And for whatever reason, Washington State has been a tough one. Now, the air raid, and it was a difficult offense to defend, and they got a lot of people with it. But they're still sort of doing the same thing. I mean, they're throwing the ball all over the field with a little run game mixed in. So, yeah, it's one of those games. It's not a rivalry game, but it's a team that you've had issues with in the past.
It's interesting you say that because Coach even said it like this has been a rivalry over the last few years with the way these games has gone. It's kind of like I feel like, guys, Stanford was kind of an Oregon rival there during like the Harbaugh and early in the Shaw era, right? Because those 2 teams were the class of the conference, not just class of the North, class of the conference. I mean, Washington State, it's a Pacific Northwest rivalry. I can say that, right, Jerry?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, that's true. Oregon State, Washington State, the battle for the North, and throw Stanford in there, but it's the Pacific Northwest teams that, all want to own the Northwest. So that in itself makes it a rivalry.
Alex chiming in saying, Jerry, that he digs the shirt. So you got that going for you.
Hard Duck Cafe, babe.
That's
years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, how long have you had that one? That's a throwback Thursday.
Yeah, a long time.
Flashback Friday? I guess it's Friday, huh?
Yeah,
Flashback Friday. Washington State's defense, Jorgy, that was something that you and I were talking about earlier this week. Their defense is the real deal, and that's maybe a little surprising with Washington State. You don't often think over the last few years their defense is really good, but they're tied for 5th in the country in takeaways. They're opportunistic.
Yeah, they're opportunistic, and I think, again, in a year when you've got a lot of longtime players, guys that maybe were in their 4th or 5th year last year, now they're in their 6th year. You look at the 2 inside linebackers, and and the trouble that they caused. I think 130 total tackles between the two of them. When you get veteran groups like that have played together for a long, long time, they know each other well. They know what each other's thinking. They know where to be at the right time and how to defend, and how to be on the same page. And I think that's one of the things that makes our defense such a challenge right now. Is it's such a veteran group that makes a lot of plays and takes the ball away a lot. They turn it over a little bit too, but they take the ball away a lot. That was never more evident than against Arizona State 2 weeks ago. And I think they had 5 takeaways in that game?
6.
And 6. And it was over at halftime. I mean, it's hard to believe it was over at halftime, but it truly was. The only thing, and I appreciate what Jerry said, the Northwest matchups I think are really important. For some reason, Washington State is always a tough out for everybody. And yet, why can USC go up there and beat the living crap out of them? like they did? And then they go to Salt Lake City, Washington State, and really played a close game with the Utes, type of situation. You just don't know what to make of football right now in these days. But at the same time, Oregon, we say this every week, is going to get everybody's best shot, particularly where they're ranked right now. And you can bet that's going to be the case Saturday night.
Well, okay, so you don't want to know how messed up football is right now, guys. I've got some numbers for you. These numbers are really only about how bad we are at picking games. We are currently, guys, picking at a 50% rate.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're at 50%. Flag on the play. Thank you, Scott. So Jerry and Jorgy, you guys are picking 50% for picks this year, and I'm at 49%, and the coin is at 40%. This is, statistically speaking, the worst year that we have ever had in picks up to this point in a regular season. Last year is hard for me to quantify. We all picked at 58%. We were correct 58% of the time last year. But yeah, guys, this year we are historically bad at picking football games.
Yeah.
I think everybody is. I mean, when you look at some of the pick shows that are on ESPN or ABC or wherever it happens to be, you're not seeing a lot of success. Jorgy, I attribute it to 2 things. I think COVID really changed the landscape, and all those guys came back. Some teams benefited from that a lot more than others. Yeah. And the transfer portal is the other thing that has changed teams. And I'm not sure that you, Jorgy, Joey, and I, and a lot of other people who prognosticate games are caught up with all the changes and how they've impacted teams.
Well, I mean, I'll just even say, for the most part, we all have picked the team, I think, that is favored by the odds makers, and they're not even getting it right. That's what's been amazing with it, particularly in the Pac-12. We got picks coming up in just a little bit. Jorgy, I want to ask you about the offensive line for the Ducks. They've been incredible at facing a lot of different adverse situations. They're going to be without Ryan Walk again. The good news is that Alex Forsythe is back. The offensive line just can't catch a break. How are they still performing so well, Jorgy?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Well, coaching has a lot to do with it, and I think oftentimes you would rather have players, I think for the most part, on almost every position, be a specialist at that position. And yet the cross-training that's had to take place with almost every position along the offensive line. Centers need to know how to play guard tackle. Guard tackles need to know how to play center. And it's played out to a T this year with the bodies that have gone down and having to shift people around and not missing a beat. But, man, would it be nice to see the offensive line intact, healthy, everybody there, and being able to see how they perform with no Ryan Walk, obviously, for the foreseeable future, but getting Forsythe back, that certainly helps. But it'd be nice to see both those guys in the lineup at the same time to really be able to go forward with it. But, that has a lot to do with a group that is very, very close, very tight-knit. They work hard, but they're so well coached, and that's what puts them in the position to have the success that they have. And I know guys, obviously, like Travis Dye and everybody else really appreciates what those guys are doing, because it makes a guy like Travis's job a lot easier.
Yeah, Travis Dye said that this week. And Travis Dye has had some really historic games over the last month or so, since it's really been on his shoulders. And I think it's going to be on his shoulders again. And talking about Ryan Walk, he's a finalist, or semifinalist, I should say, for the Burlsworth Award, which is given out to the best player who began his career as a walk-on. That's pretty cool. I mean, what a story for Ryan Walk, and here's to him getting back sooner than later. And, guys, I got to ask you a little bit, Jerry, about the defense for the Ducks. We talk about Washington State's defense, but I think that Oregon's defense, obviously led by Kayvon Thibodeau, first defensive player to ever be up for the Walter Camp Award. We learned that this week. and he deserves all of it, man. I don't know that anybody impacts a game more than Kayvon Thibodeau across the country right now.
Well, no, I mean, he's the real deal, and they've been saying that about him since before the season started, coming off of last year's shortened season. But he's been targeted as far as teams double teaming him and running or throwing away from him. So they made it more difficult. But what he has done, he's made Brandon Dorlus' job so much easier. He's made Noah Sewell's job so much easier. It's the people around him are benefiting from what he's disrupting, even though he may not be making those sacks and tackles as often as we think he should be. It's because he's occupying space and other guys are making plays.
He makes Jerry Allen's job a whole lot easier.
Yeah, no doubt.
Jerry Allen and Jorgy are with us. Quick timeout. It's Duck Insider. When we come back, picks. And we can tell you who we think is going to win so you can pick the opposite of what we're picking. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Exit Strategy. No matter which Toyota you choose, there's an exit from the ordinary to match. See you soon, Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer or Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Exit Strategy. No matter which Toyota you choose, there's an exit from the ordinary to match. See you soon, Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer or Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
You're not too cool for me. And in return, I reciprocate that sentiment. I'll never be too cool for you. I was a man with a plan, but now I'm a dad with a decree, and you can't take that from me. Please let it be noted that I told my job they can dock my pay. Right now, it's just too important to take you to school every day. I want to be legendary for you. I want you to puff out your chest when you go to school, the same way I do. I walk taller because of you, because I found everything to live for.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too. Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and experiences connect through conversation, and it feels good.
This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together. Start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Jerry Allen, Mike Jorgensen joining us. Time for some Sylvan Ridge Winery picks. Sylvan Ridge Winery representing the very best of the South Willamette Valley. We will all be celebrating the end of a successful pick season with a bottle or 5 of Sylvan Ridge Winery wine. 5 sounds like a good number, right, Jorg?
It does. Yeah.
All right, we got picks to make. So here's where we stand. Last week did not go well for one Joey Mack. Took the gamble. I went with Cal, even with everything going on in their program. Didn't work out for me. Arizona got the win. I went 2-2. Jerry and Jorgy went 3-1. They missed like I did on Oregon State. The coin also went 3-1. That means Jerry gets to pick first, followed by Jorgy, followed by the coin, and then I get the honor of picking last.
Been there.
I went from a 2-game lead to trailing by 1 in a matter of 3 weeks, everybody.
The real world.
I do not want to lose my crown. I will find a way to at least tie you guys here again. So anyway, that's where we stand. I guess since you guys are both, unless you guys have a coin, do you guys want to flip or should I flip in the studio today?
I think it's you.
All right. Well, that sucks. Jerry is going to pick first. So we've got Utah and Arizona. Utah sneaking into the college football playoff top 25, guys. 11 a.m. on Pac-12 Network. Utes seem to have figured a few things out. They're 6-3, 5-1 in Pac-12 play. Arizona riding a high in Tucson right now. They stormed the field after ending the losing streak that has lasted for about 2 years. They're 1-8, 1-5 in conference action. Jerry?
Well, Arizona has righted the ship. They have figured it out, okay? They are who we thought they would be.
They're not very good.
Right. No, that doesn't sound right at all. Look, at Utah owns them right now. They've won, I think, the last 4 games, throttle them. And right now, Cameron Rising, since he's taken over at quarterback at Utah, he's got this offense clicking. And their defense is their defense. So even though this is at Arizona, I don't think Arizona has any chance, and I'm picking Utah big.
Jorgy Jorgensen.
Yeah, it could be 38-0 half, just like it was at Stanford for Utah. I mean, they could just run and throw and do whatever they want. Obviously, defensively, like Jerry said, Utah's defense is becoming Utah's defense very quickly with Devin Lloyd and company. But, with Rising playing like he's playing and the balance that they have as a team. And the reason why I'm talking about this game so much is because Oregon, after this weekend, goes to Salt Lake City. And that's what you have to look forward to, is a balanced offense that's playing really good football and a defense that's rounding into form. I think they're going to just absolutely blow Arizona out.
Let's see what the coin thinks. Good flip. Heads. Home team. Coin thinks Arizona.
Stupid coin.
That's right. Really stupid, that one.
The coin is picking at a 40% rate right now.
We're not much better.
No, we're not. Utah is going to just absolutely demolish Arizona. I agree with everything that you guys said about Rising. Utah always seems to get better at the end of the season, and this Utah team was playing so many young players early in the season. Makes sense that they're getting better here at this point in the year. I think Utah wins big. I actually agree with Jorgy. I think it's like 38-0 at halftime, and then it's just on cruise control. Yeah, I like Utah here big, and I don't think I'm going out on a limb in saying that. Next on the schedule, our Sylvan Ridge Winery picks 2:30 on the Pac-12 Network, live from Reser Stadium in Corvallis, Oregon. Stanford 3-6, 2-5 in Pac-12 play. Oregon State is 5-4. 3-3 in conference action, coming off a game that I think they would like back. That's a safe assessment, don't you think, Jerry?
Yeah, they made a change for the defensive coordinator. I mean, that's how upset they are, I think, about that situation. So, but I don't think they're unsettled. They don't want to keep saying, "Hey, this is the week we get bowl eligible." They got to do it. They got to check that box off so they can quit letting that be in their head. But I think the key in this one is Stanford and Tanner McKee. If he plays, Stanford has a chance. If he doesn't play, Stanford does not have a chance. So I'm going to say he's not going to play, or if he does, he'll not be efficient enough to do what he needs to do. I think Oregon State gets bowl eligible this week.
Jorgy?
Yeah, I agree. I think the Beavers do get bowl eligible, but boy, I'll tell you what a pain in the rear Stanford can be sometimes. They just again, week to week, you have no idea who's going to show up. I mean, they can give the UCLAs of the world everything they can handle. They gave Washington State everything it can handle. They knocked off Oregon, and yet Utah just demolished them the way that they played. And so, which team shows up in Corvallis and plays that way? Is it the really good Stanford team? Is it the really bad Stanford team? They went on the road. How many games last year? I think every game was on the road last year, including a victory at Reser last year. And they didn't even come back to Palo Alto to live. They were practicing in parks and doing different things like that and still winning games. So, it's one of those ones where Jerry talked about it. I think the more that the Oregon State talks about getting bowl eligible, the more pressure they put on themselves, because if you don't win this one, now you got Arizona State and Oregon left. And then the pressure really mounts. So just go out and play football if you're the Beavers. Just go out and play Oregon State identity football. Run the ball. You got to be able to run the ball and then set up the pass and things will take care of themselves. I'm taking the Beavers.
Never pick them again. I'll never pick them again. I'll never pick them again.
I'm not even going to say anything. Heads for the coin. That would be the home team, which is Oregon State. So far, everybody going with OSU.
Here's your chance, Joey. Here's your chance.
Everybody going with OSU. Yeah, Tanner McKee, guys, questionable to doubtful was the report this week, which means Ari Patu, the son of former Oregon player Saul Patu, would be the next man at quarterback. Saul played at Oregon, 97 to 2000?
Yeah.
I think that's right. I'm kind of rooting for – I shouldn't say it this way, but you guys know this. I'm kind of rooting for McKee not to play so that Patu gets a chance. There's an Oregon connection, and then there's an Oregon connection that beats the Beavers, which would just make it so sweet if Stanford was able to get it done. I don't think they're going to. I think that Oregon State's going to win the game. I think that OSU will play a tight one with the Cardinal. I think that the Cardinal will stay in the game, but you just can't pick with a quarterback situation like Stanford's dealing with. I think the smart pick is Oregon State, as much as I would love to see an Oregon connection take down the Beavs. That'd be kind of fun, guys. Okay, no one's going to say anything. Next up, Arizona State at Washington. The 4 o'clock game on Fox Sports 1, live from Husky Stadium in Seattle, where Washington is sitting at 4-5, 3-3 in Pac-12 play. Arizona State 6-3, 4-2 in conference action. I think the Ducks learned last week that the Husky offense is not very good, Jerry.
Yeah, and they're, I think they're still very unsettled now with Jimmy Lake sitting out this game, and just I think there's a little turmoil around the Husky program right now, obviously, with the way they're playing, and then losing the way they did to Oregon, and that game wasn't nearly as close as the final score. So I think they're probably teetering on a tight limb here, and in danger of falling all the way off, or maybe getting back together. I think it's going to be hard to get them back together where they are right now against a team like Arizona State. So unless the weather is miserable, wind blowing sideways and rain pouring down, I think Arizona State goes in and just plays, Sun Devil football, and that is definitely enough to beat Washington. So I'm going Sun Devils.
Yeah, well, Jerry, I'm going to go right with you there too. Arizona State's ability to be able to run the ball, of which we know Washington's biggest weakness is run defense. Oregon exposed that. Arizona State is going to further expose that. And with the weather being good, Jaden Daniels and company are going to have a field day up there. And frankly, I'd throw Heward in the game and play him the whole game. You got nothing to lose at this point because you're probably going to lose. In fact, you are going to lose the game anyway. So why not get that young man some experience in a tough type of situation? I just think Arizona State's too good, and Washington State right now kind of in a tailspin, along with all the drama that's going with it. I'm taking the Sun Devils.
Richard with some interesting picks. He's got Stanford 21, OSU 20 in overtime in the comments, and then he's saying Washington 17, ASU 14. Richard, I think that you're about to make us look like the, bad pickers that we are. We'll see what happens over the course of this. The coin for Arizona State and Washington. Good flip. Heads again. Coin's just riding the home team here with Washington being the pick. So Jimmy Lake will not be coaching in this game. They've already made a change at offensive coordinator during this same week. Lots of changes around the Husky program. The changes have maybe worked out a little bit for Washington State. Now, in that circumstance, I feel like Coach Rolovich was just around for a while, and it was almost like a true clean slate when Washington State was able to just make the changes and then roll with it. And I think that's part of why the Cougs, playing with a little less weight on their shoulders, have been playing well the last few weeks.
Yeah.
If you're Washington, I think this was more of a sudden smack to the face. That's tough, man. I am surprised, guys, that odds makers have this game as only a 5-point favorite for Arizona State. Of course, that means that it's probably going to be Washington wins the game on a last-second field goal, but I'm going to take Arizona State. They're the better team. Arizona State should win this game. Will they? Who the heck knows at this point? I don't know. Arizona State is my pick. Guys, we got to sneak a timeout in when we come back. We've got a couple more things to go through, but maybe not any tough picks. We'll find out. Sylvan Ridge Winery picks. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your future. Go to aceyourretirement.org, because when it comes to speeding past financial challenges, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio, joined virtually by Jerry Allen and Mike Jorgensen. Their Country Financial Studios are their offices. Really, I guess anymore, your studio could be from anywhere. It's kind of the world that we're living in these days. Sylvan Ridge Winery picks. It's Jerry Allen's turn again. I wonder if he's going to defer.
Well, I'm going to go USC California on this one. Defer the game.
You're going to defer the whole game. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
We can do that.
We got one game left, really. Colorado at UCLA?
Yeah, Colorado 3-6, 2-4 in conference action. It's a 6 o'clock game on Pac-12 Network. UCLA is 5-4, 3-3 in Pac-12 play. It's at the Rose Bowl. It's supposed to be 90 degrees at kickoff at 6 o'clock. UCLA can get bowl eligible. So we'll see. Colorado, UCLA. Jerry?
I know I've got a deferral, but it's a waste. I mean, I don't want to just throw it out there because it doesn't mean anything.
I like that. Confidence in your pick. Yeah. I like that.
If I'm going to win again, I'll have next week to defer again. So now, can we carry it over?
No.
No, we haven't voted on that. No, okay. It's UCLA. Colorado has played some good football at times this year, but I think UCLA is just a better football team, and they're at home, and Colorado's not used to 90 degrees. Holy cow. I'm not sure UCLA is going to be used to 90 degrees. I just think that that UCLA with Dorian Thompson-Robinson will cause more problems than Colorado can handle. To me, it's an easy pick.
Yeah.
UCLA.
Yeah, I think the Bruins get it really rolling in this game. Colorado's gaining some confidence. I particularly think offensively, because they played pretty well against Oregon at Autzen Stadium offensively. And obviously last week against Oregon State played well offensively. So I think they're beginning to gain some confidence there. I just don't know if they can keep up with UCLA. I think that the Bruins will score often, and their defense is good enough. And, the sun will be going down about 6 o'clock, so it won't feel like 90 degrees. Actually, it'll probably be a beautiful evening from the Rose Bowl, frankly. I'd love to be there sitting about 6 o'clock in the Rose Bowl after a 90-degree day. But, I'm taking the Bruins as well. I just think they get really back on track and get it rolling again.
Coins in the air. Heads again. Home team. UCLA for the win. Yeah, I think UCLA wins big. Doesn't matter.
Did the coin ever go tails?
No.
The coin
went heads every time.
Wow.
So, what are the odds?
That's what we're talking about. Not very good.
Yeah.
50-50.
In 4 flips, what are the odds that they all come up the same? That's a math question that I used to be able to answer when I was in math class.
Yeah. Trying to figure that one out. I wonder what the equation is that you use to be able to do that.
I used to know.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, like I said, younger Joey used to know those things, and I guess when everybody asks the question, when am I ever going to use this in real life? Well, we're going to use them for our Sylvan Ridge Winery picks. That's when I'm going to use equations like that in real life.
Well, it's pretty easy, really. It's a coin. It's only got 2 sides. There are 4 games, so there's a 50% chance that it will land on one or the other.
Right, but what are the odds that you get the same side of the coin?
Well, doesn't it
4
decrease?
times?
Doesn't it decrease by 50% each time?
No, it decreases by 0.75%. I just pulled that right out of
the Oh, wow.
We'll be looking at this. I'm gonna Google this once we get off.
The probability is 1 out of 16 because the formula would be to multiply it by the percentages. So, yeah, you decrease it by 50% each time, I think is what Jorgy was saying. So the probability of getting heads 4 times in a row would be 1/16.
I can't dispute that. I have no idea.
Maths.
6.25.
Do you guys want to pick Cal USC now, or do you want to wait until Pac-12 championship week to pick it?
I give it an extra game to pick. Then I think that.
I thought for sure one of you was gonna be like, "Let's pick it now."
Let's do it now.
Sylvan Ridge Winery picks. That is it. Sylvan Ridge Winery, proud to be Eugene, Oregon's first bonded winery, representing the very best of the South Willamette Valley. Guys, there's a 1 in 16 chance that the coin is going to beat us this week.
You know what's amazing, Joey, is unless the coin beats us this week and beats Jerry this week, next week will be the 4th consecutive week that Jerry picks first. Is that right?
That is correct.
See, wow. And Jerry, just think about if you would have adopted my motion 3 weeks ago. You would have had potentially 4 deferrals next week that you could have used if you would have adopted it.
But what are the odds that I would pick 4 weeks in a row? What are the odds?
Well, it would have been the same. It would have been the same as what Joey just said right there. You know, it decreases by 50% each time. So just think about that.
Okay, I thought about it. No big deal.
Final thoughts, 7:30 kick at Autzen, Oregon, Washington State, Jerry?
Well, I don't even want to think about this, but watching practice a couple of times, I'm thinking, okay, done with the injuries. No more injuries. That's almost, for me, a focus going in. I know they're going to play well. I know they're good enough to win the game. Washington State will come in hard and play. But I just like to see both these teams get to play with neither team having somebody have to come out of the game. That's a crazy thing to use as a focus or a point for the game. But I think for me, that's it. I want to see everybody finish this game healthy.
I'll take it. Jorgy, final thoughts? What do you think?
Well, I mean, you guys know what I'll defer to always. Run the ball, be able to run the ball. But I sure would love to see Oregon find a way to put some pressure on DeLaura. And it's tough to do because of the way that offensive system works. Mm-hmm. But, some way, shape, or form it might work because Utah, sacked him, I think, 8 times in Salt Lake City, which blows my mind, frankly, that was able to happen. But it can be done. And if you could put some selective pressure on him and get to him, I think Oregon could really take charge of this game by running the ball and put some pressure on DeLaura. So I look forward to watching that evolve on what's going to be a beautiful night from Autzen Stadium, guys. It's going to be just, if you are a fan wanting to go sit in comfortable temperatures at 7:30 at night, watching a number 3 BCS ranked team, okay?
CFP ranking.
CFP ranking, excuse me. I want to go back to BCS. But number 3 in the CFP rankings, a top 4 or 5 team, depending on which poll you're looking at, Get your rear to Autzen Stadium, pack that place. Let's have some fun. I can't wait.
63 degrees and partly cloudy is the forecast at kickoff for a 7:30 game against Washington State. That's what you love to see. That's what you love to see.
And anybody on the sideline in particular. So.
I'm in. It's going to be great. Jerry and Jorgy will have the call. 5:30 pregame, 7:30 kickoff, Ducks and Cougs. Fellas, thanks. And I guess I'm saying best of luck in your picks because we made all the same picks and we were real boring this week.
Yeah, good luck to you.
Yep.
That means I get to pick again first next week.
That's right. We're running out of weeks. We are running out of weeks for me to defend my crown. I don't feel good about it. All right, fellas, thanks for the time, and see you guys tomorrow at Autzen.
All right, go Ducks.
When we come back, we've got a ton more player interviews for you this week. Alex Forsythe, he made his return. We're going to hear from him. A few other Ducks, too, on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Dear past, present, and future football watchers, football is back! So consider this your official excuse for always putting football watching first, courtesy of Pepsi. That haircut appointment? Seeing the in-laws for the first time in ages.
It's been so long.
Nope, sorry, Susan, not if it's on Sunday. Long story short, after the year we've all had, we think you could use a little football watching. So crack open a Pepsi and cheer your football watching face off. With love, Pepsi. Made for football watching. That's what I like.
This is Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
Ugh, what are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. It's been a long time since we've had an adventure in the forest.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
You're right. I should get out.
Yeah, the forest is not that far away.
Hey, Mom!
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
America, your children have an amazing superpower. That's right. They can help save lives by simply washing their hands. Just 20 seconds of thorough hand washing after they've coughed or sneezed or been outside can help fight against the dastardly spread of germs. Armed with only soap and water and hands, your superhero can protect you, your family, and everyone out there in America land. Amazing! Find out more at coronavirus.gov. A message from the CDC and the Ad Council.
More preview of Oregon-Washington State coming up. Going to hear from a number of student athletes here the next few minutes. Good catch from Devin. Jorgy mentioned that Jaden DeLora got sacked a bunch against Utah when the Cougs were there, but it was actually Jarrett Garantano that was the quarterback at the time for the Cougs. Good catch there, Devin. And Jorgy and I were actually just talking about that during the break, and it's like, man, that even tells you a little bit more how much of a difference their offense, how much better it is, how much of a difference it is when DeLora's in there as compared to Garantano. Hey, before we hear from Alex Forsythe, congratulations to Oregon women's soccer. 4 Ducks, Leah Freeman, Allie Cook, Zoe Hasenauer, and Croy Soto were named to the COSIDA Women's Soccer Academic All-District 8 teams on Thursday. It's not just on the field, it's in the classroom. But it was also on the field because a program-best 4 student athletes were also named to the All-Pac-12 teams announced by the conference today. League's coaches named goalkeeper Leah Freeman to the first team, defender Croy Soto to the second team, and forward Allie Cook and defender Chai Cortez to the third team. Congratulations to Oregon women's soccer. Let's hear a little bit from Alex Forsythe. He did make his return, and man, it was tough for him being on the sidelines for so long. Ducks glad to have Alex Forsythe back, one of their captains.
You got to be able to block and play winning football at a high level. So I think that was the toughest part for me was, getting that strength back and ultimately coming back from recovery. So it was pretty tough. For me, definitely just being so close at the UCLA week, especially, and getting all the way through pregame warm-ups, and then right before the game, I kind of did a one-on run-up, and it just didn't feel right. And so it was really tough. But the guys held it down, and they did. Ryan Walk did a fantastic job. All the other O-linemen, everybody stepped up. So it was tough for me to watch from the sidelines and stuff, but it was really fun watching them go out there and play and have fun.
It's like it almost maybe more taxing mentally than physically.
Yeah, no, I think 100%. I think it was just tough for me. Like I said, I've never been a guy that has missed any time with sports and stuff. And football is, it's my life and it's what I love to do. So it's when that gets taken away from you, it's pretty hard. Especially when you're watching all the guys going out there and have fun at practice and having a blast on game days. It's tough, but I'm glad to be back out here and just practicing and playing and stuff. So
you said it didn't feel quite right before the UCLA game on a rep. Can you maybe speak to what that sensation is or kind of how you knew that?
Yeah, it just kind of tightened up on me. It felt good throughout the week. I was kind of limited in some stuff, in some capacity, and obviously without going into a whole lot of detail, but it just kind of before the game kind of tightened up on me, and I was literally right there and right on the cusp, and then it just, I wasn't going to be able to go out and play at a high level. So that's hopefully what was good.
Did it originally happen with Stanford? So did it happen day of? Because we saw him pregame with knee pads and everything. Well, braces were on. So did it happen pregame, or was it something during the week that just got worse and worse?
It was something that happened kind of during the week, maybe the game before. I'm not really sure 100% when it started, just kind of gradually. And then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be able to go on game day. We kind of went through some stuff, and I was like, it's not holding up right now. So it was kind of a decision that we had to make with the trainers and all that stuff, and ultimately helped me out.
I don't want to speak for other coaching staffs around the country, but how nice is it with Oregon that they weren't pushing you out there, even though you probably could have gone in some situations?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was all up to me on how I was feeling. I really tried to push it because, like I said, I hate missing time and missing things, and so I think for me that was the toughest part. Is I want to get back out there. You gotta. This is something you can't rush back. You gotta make sure you're 100% ready to go. And so they were fantastic with that. Coach Chris Ball and Coach Mirabal and training staff, Chief. So all those guys were really helpful with that. So I couldn't be more grateful with it.
What's it say about the depth of this O-line? Because all year it feels like every week we're seeing some kind of combination where it's like I don't think they've ever practiced that way, and yet you're running really well. AV's protections feels really good. Just the overall depth of this unit to go through what you've gone through.
Yeah, no, I think it's a tremendous kudos to Coach Mirabal and how he cross trains everybody at every different position. I'll give a shout out to Dawson because he's had to play literally every single position so far. So he's done a great job, and it's kind of funny. You'll be in the game, you're like, oh, this guy's next to me now. What's up? Haven't seen you in practice, or haven't been with you in practice, and so you just got to go out there and roll with it. And we trust everybody in the room, and we're a really tight knit room, so there's a lot of trust and a brotherhood there. So I think that goes a long way for us on the field.
I think there was always outside the program some confusion of why there was so much cross training last year in games this early on this year, and it's just kind of feeling like I don't want to speak for you guys, but it's like, hey, this is why they were doing it. And it's paying off.
No, I think that's a good point. I think we've been doing cross training stuff. We didn't do it a whole lot until I'd say 2020 is when we kind of started doing it, because you never knew if a guy was going to get COVID. You had to go and slide in that position. So I think for us right now it's kind of paying dividends right now, because you have guys that are getting reps at every different position. I know how hard that is, because I had to, when I was a young guy, I was getting reps at every single position from right tackle all the way through left tackle. So it's tough, and it's a lot harder than a lot of people think. So I think it's, but cross-training O-lineman is great, because then you can just slide in the next best guy. So I think that's really worked in our favor.
You were here in 19. How often in 19, 18 did you guys do that? Even in practice, let alone in games.
Yeah, I think that was more with the twos we do that. So Ryan, Steven, Dawson, and I, George, we'd kind of flop around. They didn't really do that with the older guys because they had been playing for forever.
So it's a substantial increase.
Yeah. So I'd say, and so I guess it's not really new for us, because we've been doing it since the 2019 season, 2018 season, where we've had to play every single position. So for us, it's just kind of it's just normal. So I think it looks weird with an outside eye, but for us it's that's just how it is. So
tough obviously to see Ryan go down, but he's starting to get some national recognition, and then he came in as a walk-on. Just wanted to ask you, what was it like to see him grow from when he came in to now, and just his approach to the game?
Yeah, Ryan's a guy that I look up to, and I compete with every single day on, it doesn't matter if it's a lift or conditioning session. We're best friends and we're brothers, so we compete in everything. We'll play NCAA football when we get home on the 360, and we'll be yelling, screaming at each other. So we're really high competitive guys. So we've been with each other pushing each other every single day since we've been here. And he's a guy who really just grinded, and he's living the dream. I mean, he grew up 2 miles down there, or a mile and a half down that way. So, he's a guy who just chased his dream, and it's really inspirational to see him really achieve his dream of, starting for the Ducks and playing. He did a tremendous job at center. He plays all 3 interior positions really, really well. And he deserves every recognition he's getting, because he just busts his butt every single day. And you ask anybody around this program, it doesn't matter who it is, and I guarantee you they'll say the same thing. So
that's so cool to hear Alex Forsythe talking about his roommate in Ryan Walk. You'd love to see them on the field together at the same time again. We'll just leave it at that. Continuing previewing Oregon-Washington State 7:30 kickoff after Alex Forsythe. Jalen Redd, he's really emerged, I think, as a leader for this team. Jalen Redd has had some good things to say looking back on the win at Washington and getting ready for the Cougs coming to Autzen Stadium on Saturday.
Coach said yesterday that Washington State is another big rival, one of the biggest ones, especially with how competitive these have been. What does it feel like? What does a Washington State rivalry game feel like, and maybe how does it differentiate itself from other games?
I think it's almost the same. At the same time, I think we got more history with the UW, but at the same time, Washington State has been a team that, for a long time before I got here as well, they was beating up on us, talking whatever they talking. At the same time, we just got to come out here and keep the same schedule, 1-0, and the same process that we've been having, because everybody that we play going to give us their best, and we playing another great opponent this week. We gotta come our hardies.
Coach said the physicality stands out in the Oregon-Washington State games. You're somebody who I think doesn't shy away from that part.
Sure.
What do you get excited about the idea that it may come down to the more physical team, the tougher team?
Yeah, that's probably the best part about it. Just the fact that it's gonna get real nitty gritty within the trenches and also on the perimeter. You know what I mean? We're gonna try to make it a physical task for everybody on the field between them white lines. So we couldn't ask for a better challenge.
Washington State has been such a strange year for them, but is it somewhat admirable or respectable the way they've responded going through what they've gone through? 1-4 straight in conference. They're right behind you in the standings. This game means a lot.
Their record does not change the respect that I give towards their organization or their program. I know what type of team they got. I know how they play. I know how hard they play, what type of organization they're around, how they coach, all that, the ins and outs. So I can't come out thinking no less of them because of their record or anything like that. I got to come on and just like it's the national championship, just like I think they're going to come out, you know what I mean? So that's how we're going to attack it.
One more back from Saturday's game. Maybe it gets lost a little bit, but your catch, I think, in that drive, the first scoring drive, your first touchdown drive, your catch to kind of get things going for Anthony. He'd really struggled before that. Do you feel like that was a play that kind of got things going for the offense? Because it was a long play. Obviously, you come down and you score the touchdown to Devin. But
Definitely. I think that play definitely played a factor in my quarterback getting comfortable in our offense. You know what I mean? I think some of our guys really just see me as a leader. So when I make some plays, everybody kind of sparks a match for a lot of our guys. So I think I kind of just sparked something in his head, and where he think that he just had to stay to his course, and we was going to do what we had to do. At the same for Dev. Dev seen me make a play, and he just thought that, all right, maybe I need to make a play as well, because our offense only goes as far as the receiver takes them. So that's how we think, and that's how we play.
Can I ask you just how Anthony has accomplished that, being a leader? And he stands here, players walk by and they joke around with him. It seems like everybody really likes him. How does he maintain and develop that popularity?
I would say just composure. He treats himself with maturity. You know what I mean? He's been through a lot, and you can see it. It's not something that you have to go find. He kind of shows it firsthand when, you know what I mean, he's been through a lot. He's overcome a lot. We've had a lot of adversity. So just how he's acted when certain situations came in his face so suddenly, that's why we respect him so much. It's just how he carries himself around those situations.
And how does that manifest itself on Saturday against Washington, where the game does start out slow and he obviously turns it around, but that confidence you guys have with him even when things aren't good?
That confidence that we have, I mean, at the same time, he's somebody who doesn't know anything about the rivalry and haven't experienced the rivalry, you know what I mean, all that type of stuff. The conditions, never played there. It's so much that you gotta put in the factor that he probably was his first time being a part of, you know what I mean? So the fact that he was able to overcome all this stuff in a different environment, far from home, he's just a tough guy, and I wouldn't want to go to war with anyone else.
Is there anything specifically in those conditions that you do to change your preparation as a wide receiver?
To change my preparation? I wouldn't say change my preparation, but I would say just get get mentally prepared for a dogfight and the cold. You talking about Washington, right? Yeah, right. Just getting your mind right for the cold and all conditions. Anything can happen. It's gonna be rain, wet, but at the same time, it's gonna be like one of those old school football games when you was 9 years old, when you first loved football. That's one of those games, as my coach say, Brian McKinnon. Them games like that, them slugfest, is gonna show out who really loves football the most, because that's how we really started playing football.
When a game starts out like that and it looks like passing yards are gonna be hard to come by, sorry if you've been asked this, but just did you change your mentality at all? Like, all right, I'm gonna have to do some different things to be an impact player in this game?
I when it got wet, I kind of knew that the ball wasn't going to be thrown as much, but at the same time, I'm prepared for anything, you know what I mean? But definitely, the fact that it was raining kind of put a little edge on me as far as making sure whenever we get a ball to our running backs that he has nobody responsible, a receiver is responsible for it to make the tackle, is what I'm trying to say.
Coach shouted you out yesterday for the physicality you played with, but also not taking the bait when some people tried to get under your skin. I guess, is it fun to get under people's skin? And then, I mean,
it is fun to get under people's skin a little bit, but at the same time, we all got to keep the football between these white lines and try to do whatever we can and not hurt the team. That's the end result.
I mean, does that tell you you're doing your job to some extent?
That definitely tells me I'm doing my job to some extent.
You were here in 19, and you went through that experience where in November, every win at this time just gets bigger and bigger, and the next game just feels bigger and bigger because of what's at stake. How important is it for this team to kind of understand that you can't look ahead to 2 weeks or whatnot, because you have to focus on that 1 week, because like we saw in 19, the ASU game?
I think that's tremendous. I think the fact that Coach Cristobal and some of our coaches really been emphasizing that stuff it's really big, because we don't have a lot of people that's really been through big games as much, and really we don't have as many vets compared to the younger guys, is what I'm trying to say. So the fact that he keeps trying to mirror that image and that message, is what I'm trying to say, is just something that the young guys could kind of hold on to and just stay, because me personally, I have been through something like that, so I can kind of back them up on that type of stuff. Like, man, we can't get comfortable. When you get comfortable, that's when you slip up. So just the fact that he emphasizing all of that, if he didn't, he would feel bad that he didn't, and we went out there and, blew it if we did, So at the same time, we just got to keep on holding on, doing what we're doing, staying our 1-0 process. We can't get comfortable and attack every game like it's the same.
A lot of good stuff from Jalen Redd there. I think a real leader for this team. And when we come back, we're going to hear from Jordan Happle. He has done a really nice job since returning for the Ducks. We'll talk about him a little bit next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
What's with Mountain Dew? Mountain Dew is like a zip line of incredible flavor directly into your brain. Mountain Dew is like getting punched in the mouth with pure neon refreshment that creates a neural explosion, sending flavor shards of electric brain pulses into your very core of being. Okay, maybe that's a little over the top, but you get the idea. The fact is, the mind-bending challenge of describing the taste of Mountain Dew is way harder than just experiencing it. That, of course, is easy. Just grab an ice cold Dew, crack it open, and toss them back. Mountain Dew. Do the Dew.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics, because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Watch out! You got me!
The galaxy is safe once again.
In the pretend universe, kids play with pretend guns. In the real world, it's up to us to make sure they don't get their hands on a real gun. If you have a gun in the house, keep it locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Closing in on a 7:30 kickoff between Oregon and Washington State on ESPN. A guy who made a big impact for the Ducks against Washington was Jordan Happle. Had a club on his hand, but he was great to see him back in the lineup on defense for the Ducks, and they're going to need him as the secondary depth continues to be tested. They look a little bit healthier heading into this week. Jordan Happle, though, some great things to say in his return to the field and getting ready for Washington State.
Club going to get smaller by the week or no more?
Yeah, who knows really. We'll see. That's up to Chief and our training staff. I mean, again, they've done a great job with getting me prepared and stuff, so I'm just happy to be back out there.
What does it mean to you in particular where you come here and at the time the circumstances were very bizarre. You're in a different kind of position and role in that defense. Changes a lot. You're playing a role that you didn't play nickel before. You get back to deep safety, but you're not in the starting role. Here you are a senior. Be having the opportunity against Washington. Be here. All right, you don't want Steve to get hurt, but you're having these opportunities now when it matters in such a big moment.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's terrible to see anyone go down our team. You never want to see that in any game of football. It's our team, the opponent, whoever. I mean, I think the biggest thing is with not just myself, but everybody, you just need to prepare yourself like a starter, and everyone's going to get their moment. You just don't know when it's going to come. I mean, you just have to seize it when it comes.
As a, traditionally speaking, field safety, what is this matchup in particular? Because this is, both you and Verone will be playing basically the way you probably enjoy playing, I'm guessing.
Yeah, no, it's a big game, obviously. Washington State does a lot of stuff with their offense. Obviously, they're a very pass-heavy offense, but they can run the ball too, which I think a lot of people fail to recognize. They got some really good running backs, slot receivers, outside receivers, I mean, a good quarterback. Their offense is very hard to stop. They put up a lot of yards. I mean, so we have a tough task ahead of us, but I mean, we just got to do our part.
Beyond the obvious, Jordan, what goes into playing with the club? You know, how does that kind of change your approach?
I mean, you get used to it pretty quickly. I practiced with it last week, so I mean, it wasn't that bad. Obviously, I can't grab much with my right hand and whatnot, but I mean, you get used to it, getting off blocks. Obviously, it's not the same as normal, but it's not that bad once you get used to it.
Coach Cristobal talked a lot about how you've just really been a student of the game and put a lot into your preparation. With you having played so much football leading up to now, you know, how do you feel like you've kind of developed within your process and your approach to these games?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've improved a lot over the course of my whole career. I think when I came into college, I didn't really know how to watch film. I think over the course of my time in college, I've learned how to study the game by myself, and then just how other people do it as well. So learning how Coach Yates watches film, to Coach Cristobal or anybody else. I mean, I think it's important that you need to be a student of the game in order to be successful, and I think that's something that I kind of take pride in doing.
I thought that was really cool to hear because Coach Cristobal said that, right? That he has been a student of the game, maybe better than anybody else, and that's how he does it. Jordan Happle and the rest of the Ducks getting ready for a 7:30 kickoff on ESPN. 5:30 pregame show for us across the Oregon Sports Network. Great news for Oregon volleyball if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour. They've got USC at 4 o'clock. Men's basketball tonight, 8 o'clock against SMU. We've got volleyball at noon on Sunday as well, and women's basketball at 5 o'clock on Sunday. Big weekend. Go Ducks. See you Monday.
Okay, forest animals, kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow, have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. River, how's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man.
I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. Okay. Squirrel.
The forest has been preparing just for you. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you